Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing minor lighting modifications on my Q3. What we'll actually be upgrading are these welcome lights that you find here on the door, those ones over there. Obviously there's four, one for each door. What we'll also be upgrading, let me just switch this on, the side mirror turn signals. Right now we've got the standard OEM ones, both of them work, but we'll be replacing them with the upgraded dynamic ones that obviously sweep from right to left or left to right, depending on which mirror you are looking at. So let's get down to business. Let's have a quick look at the tools that you'll need, and obviously the goodies that you'll be installing. You will need a Torx size 10 screw driver, as well as a flathead screwdriver. You also obviously have the four welcome lights that will be installing on the doors, and obviously the dynamic lights that will be installing on either side mirror. Now you'll see these ones come in white. I noticed that the ones I got for my wife's Audi, which I've got one over here, actually comes in a darker color. This one looks much nicer, and I think it will work much better on my wife's sleeper sedan. So before you buy, just make sure it's for the correct car model or vehicle model, but also just check which color it is that you are buying, so that you can buy the preferred color. Alrighty, this is probably going to be the easier one of the two mods we'll be doing today. We will obviously just show the modification on one door. It's going to be the same for all the remaining doors as well. We are currently looking at the driver's door. So I'm going to be using the flathead. Obviously you can use a prying tool if you want, and if you look at your light, there is a gap on one side, on the inner side. On my vehicle there is a small gap where you can put your flathead or your prying tool and just gently twist it to get this out. You can then obviously just pull this out, put the screwdriver away, and then push down on this clip with your thumb or your nail, and then pull it out, and then there is your original light off. I have already taken out the new one. This is how it looks. You'll obviously see that there is a slight difference in the two. I'm just trying to see if this is focusing. Yeah, there is a slight difference. This is the original OEM one, this is the custom one that we're adding, but the fitment should be the same on all. Now just to install it back, same way, just clip this light back in, and you can already see, make sure it clips in place. You can already see the welcome light there on the door. We'll obviously just show this better when it's darker, how it projects onto the floor, and then you just slide it back in place, clip it in, and there, all done. Moving on to the next one. With all four welcome lights now complete, we are going to move on to probably the star attraction of today's video, and that will be the side mirror indicators. What I've done is pre-prepared the mirrors by turning them all the way in to face all the way in towards the vehicle. This gives you more space to work on with your hands, because you can actually pry this mirror out with your hands, but you can obviously use prying tools if you wish. Your hands might have to be as skinny as mine or small enough to actually fit in there. So all you need to do here is try your best to pry this mirror out. Obviously try your best not to break it, but when needed, do apply a bit of force, because all it does is just you push it in and it clips into place. So obviously to get it out, you just try to pry it out of those areas where it clips into. Try not to pull it all the way out, because there are wires for the mirror warmers, obviously to dry up the mirror when you are driving in the rain. So try not pull it all the way out, because there are those wires that you would need to disconnect. So there you go, and that just clipped out of place in one area anyway, so you need to try and get the other clips out as well. Okay, looks like I'm making progress. Feel like it. Hoping sharp. What I'm going to do is try and move the mirror out to stay on the edges. Maybe turning all the way in is not quite yet. We're going to try and adjust it to move it out so I can get it out of the area. Okay, I'll set the mirror to face slightly outwards. Now let's try and see if we can get this out. Okay, what I'll try and do, we have a small prying tool, so I'll try to clean out at the bottom. Try and pry out the elastic with this one to here at the bottom. Maybe try to pry out the side as well. So just keep focusing not to break the mirror. Okay, I'll do one last adjustment. I'll tilt the mirror face upwards so that will be more room to edge at the bottom. Okay, so now the mirror is tilted all the way up, and I do have a bit more room to actually work with it at the bottom. So I'm going to try it out. And I guess we actually break the mirror, so I need a prying tool. Okay, I got something there, or something to that place. Okay, and there you have it. Just gonna bring my camera closer to just show you what it looks like here at the back. Okay, so if you take out the mirror, this is what you should see at the back. I'm not sure how clear this is because of the angle of the sun, but I'm hoping you can see. Basically the mirror fits in there, that's the housing, that round part, and there are all these clips, these hooks that hook on in there. And we do have here at the bottom these connectors, like I said, they're for the mirror warmers. All you need to do is just plug them out. So unfortunately I've only got two hands. You need to hold them here and just pull them out. Let me see if I can put the camera back on the stand for that. Okay, so these are the two connectors that I was talking about. You just need to pull them out like that. Just try and wiggle them out. Ooh, okay. These little buggers have been there probably since the vehicle was manufactured, so they're kind of stuck in there. So let's try and pull them out without breaking anything. So what I eventually had to do is use my flathead to actually pry these out. This one, for example, was connected in there, so I had to use the flathead to just pry it out from the bottom. That seemed to work better. Just please take note, I'm not sure how clear it is on the shot. There's two different colored wires. This one is blue, it's black and blue. This one is black and red. Just take note of which connector or which wire was connected to which pin. On my vehicle, the blue one was on the outermost plug, whereas the black and red one was on the innermost one. So please just take note of that for when you have to obviously reassemble this. Okay, this is a close-up shot of what the housing looks like. You'll notice you've got quite a number of Torx screws. This is where your Torx number 10 screwdriver comes in. You've got number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 Torx screws. But I think the ones that will that are holding the housing in place is these ones at the bottom and possibly the one there at the top. So we'll undo all of those, and the next step would be to actually unclip over here at the bottom. I'm not sure how clear that is. Unclip there, because we need to get this white part of the housing out. And how we do that is unclip it there at the bottom and around here at the back, where it connects to the black part. We need to unclip it all the way there around. And once we have done that, we then have to try and wiggle this whole white housing out from the top and pull it off. It will then come out with the 10 signal that we want to actually remove. Maybe easier said than done, but let's give it a try. Alrighty, we'll start by undoing the Torx screws. And then please ensure to have a safe place where you can keep these where they won't get lost. Now the next one. Just try and wiggle this out and see if it feels like it's any loose. Feels quite still stuck on. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the rest of the screws. Hope I'm not dismantling the whole thing here now, but if I am, we'll take it as a learning curve. So it's not going to be an expensive learning curve. That looks like all the screws that I can see. Okay, so we are now under the mirror. I've struggled with this quite a bit off camera, just to try and figure out how this thing exactly comes out. So it turns out this black part actually can come out. You just need to be a bit gentle with it as you are prying it all the way around, so separating the black part from the white colored, whatever the color of your car obviously will be. You can pry this out and take it off. Just please be very careful, because what I have done in the process, I've damaged that clip over there. So it's got these clips, one, that's the second one, and that's the third one here at the back. So it's 1, 2, 3, that clip on to place. There's also that fourth hook over there as well, and you can then obviously, and then there's some hooks here, some clips, hooks, 1, 2, 3 on the inside as well. So just unclip those or unhook those, take this off here from the bottom. What you can then do after that is just switch on the light here. I've actually taken the housing out. If you look in there, that housing actually, when you can push it down, after you're done, you'll have to push it down and it hooks into place. Also on this side as well, there's that hook that clips into place when you push it down when you are done. So to undo it, just try as gently but with force when necessary, get that out of place. Get that out of its place, as well as on this side, that hook out of its place. And then after that, focus, you can then just wiggle this housing out, wiggle it out, being very careful. As you can see, there's a connector there at the back. Let's try and get this to focus. There is a connector there at the back, which supplies power to the turn signal. You'll have to obviously just unclip that, which I'll try and do now. So I've got this now to face the sun. I'm hoping it's a little bit clearer. So all you need to do now is just unhook this connector, which supplies power to the turn signal, and you are done. Turns out the boot of the car has got much better lighting, or is the better place in which to get this done. And there you see the actual turn signal that we are looking at replacing. We've already taken out the one Torx screw. We'll take out the last one and then just try to wiggle this light out of place and replace it with a new one. Hopefully it's going to be as easy as I'm making it sound. Just remind me that's where I put the screw. Haha. Okay, So now the wiggling around, as you can see, the actual turn signal goes in and curves in all the way around. As you can see, it curves in all the way around, so we have to try and actually wiggle it out, trying by all means not to break anything. Oh, silly me. Just be careful, there is a hook over here that keeps it in place, so just try and clear that out, and as you slide the actual turn signal out. So just bear with me as I sort of struggle my way through this, hoping not to break anything. I think probably at this point it might be a good idea to apply some of the lubricant, which I'm hoping doesn't damage anything. Shouldn't, because this thing sits out in the rain anyway, so hopefully that gets it to move out a little better. This is a bit difficult to get done with the camera, or trying to hold the camera steady as well at the same time. Okay, so I eventually managed to get the light out. It was quite a bit of a struggle, and it wasn't without casualties, because I managed to break that small bit off the housing, unfortunately, or off the light, unfortunately. I have connected the light, it still works, but that bit is off, which I think is actually some sort of fiberglass. While I'm here, I'm just going to wipe this housing down, because there was lubricant that we sprayed in there. Wipe it down clean before we install the new light. With that out of the way, we're going to take the old light, compare it to the new, and we discover this is the wrong side. Compare it to the new, make sure it's the correct side, and take off this plastic covering, make sure it is the correct side. And what we'll then do is just install the new light into the housing. Hopefully we have better luck than what we did when we were trying to uninstall the old light. So try and do this as gentle as possible. Let's see, push it in here. Let's try and get this one concluded. Might need to struggle a bit with this off camera, but you get the basic idea. Try and slide this in, slide it back into place where it was. That's all I'm trying to do. That was not the easiest thing that I've ever done. If you ever hear me talk about side mirror upgrades ever again, please remind me of this video, because that was not easy. A hint that I can give: once you get this in and you're trying to slide it in, you see I've unfortunately damaged the mirror there a bit, but what I was doing there is digging the flat head screwdriver into the housing, and then using it as leverage to actually twist and turn and push this whole housing in, because once it gets to this point, it gets stuck in the corner. Once it gets to this point, it gets stuck in this corner, so you need to find a way to actually what I found was to use the flat head to dig it into the housing, and then twist the flat head to sort of push this whole housing, to slide it, or the light, to slide it into place. So definitely not easy. What we'll do now is reinstall the screw that was over there, using our Torx 10 screwdriver. It should be fairly straightforward, probably one of the easier things to do on this whole upgrade. Okay, and then I will take this back and try and get everything reassembled again. Okay, we are doing everything obviously in reverse. We are going to insert the housing on top. I'm over here making sure we do not cut or pinch any of the wires. So reassemble it here on top, and let's go ahead and reinstall the actual wire supplying power to the actual 10 signal. Reinstall that. Might be a good idea at this point to use flash on the hazards, make sure this works properly, which is what I will move on to doing now. So the hazards are on. Let's go around and have a look. It does look good. It does look good, but still, if I talk about it in the future, remind me of this day. Let's put everything back together. What we'll do is slide this cover over the whole mechanism, and I'll go around to reinstall everything. Make sure the wires again are not pinched or anything. Insert the hooks that I mentioned before, the hook over there, the hook over here. Make sure you slide them in place. These guides, slide them in. They should click at some point, maybe not, but they're not. There you go, clips in place. Number one, number two. Oh, number two is already in place. I can see the holes already aligning. So what we'll do next is reinstall the screws. Switch that off. Before we install the screws, we need to reinsert something. Okay, what's the deal? I think the cover part will be too much. It will be better. So we just reinstall the top. Alright, just keep nicely in place. Then we'll reinstall all these goodies here. Hopefully I'm installing everything the right way around. Feels like it's supposed to be now. Oh, good enough. So it's good enough. Alright, and the next one, okay, this side. I'm not entirely sure if it was necessary to remove these two. They're just reinstalled, and let's just double check when actually update your lights. Just as a precaution, test the hazards again, make sure they're still working. This is before we reinstall the actual mirror. Looking good. Okay. Remember, two different colored wires. Ours, on my case, the blue one was on the outside, and so black and blue was on the outside, black and red was on the inside. Okay, this just reconnect the way it was connected in your own vehicle. Connects up nicely. Connect up the other one. Also connects in nicely. Okay. And then we just guide this back into place. You can then just switch on the vehicle and test if the mirror still moves, and the mirror moves almost effortlessly. What we're gonna do now is the other side, which obviously I will do off camera, and I'll show you the final product once everything's been installed. And over here we've got the welcome lights, starting with the passenger side, the rear left side, and then coming around to the right side, starting with the rear right side and ending on the driver's door.